Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I am very, very, very excited because today I get to talk about one of my favorite topics to talk about, and that is cryptids. If you've been on my channel for a while, you probably know how much I love Mothman. My house is filled with Mothman. I have, I think, a Mothman in every single one of my rooms except for one of my bathrooms. And yes, I do have a Mothman in another bathroom. I have a Mothman chest that I custom made to store clothes in. I have a custom made Mothman lamp. I have obviously my Mothman here. I have many portraits of Mothman. I have Mothman pajamas. I love Mothman. If you've been following me recently, you probably know that I have a giant Mothman tattoo on my leg. I love Mothman. So when I saw this book, I believe I saw this book on Tim Meyer's Instagram. So I had heard briefly about it on our Harlot on Reddit, and just saw that there was a Mothman book coming out. I believe Laurel Hightower, the author, did an AMA on there, and kind of like briefly looked into it, but didn't know too much about it. And then saw a few days later on Tim Meyer's Instagram page. Tim Meyer's one of my favorite authors. That he adored this book, so I literally went on Amazon and immediately ordered it. It showed up like a week ago and I read it in like 2 days, and here we are. This is Below by Laurel Hightower. I'm in a great mood today, primarily because I'm talking about Mothman. I know my videos last week may have been a little not as energetic. I know a few people actually asked me if I was okay. I am fine. I was in a like bartender hell week. For those of you guys who do not know, I am a bartender in Manhattan. I work at 3 bars, 2 high-end cocktail bars, and 1 like high-volume nightclub kind of thing. And I was helping for the last couple months open one of the cocktail bars that is finally open. We're getting staffed right now. It's very understaffed, and I am the beverage director, so I have been doing all of the cocktail trainings, and I had 11-hour shifts this week, and I worked more shifts than I normally do. Had like 1 day off, and was just like exhausted from everything. But that week is over. I have a very easy week next week. I'm very excited. And I get to talk about Mothman. Wow. I have an awesome Mothman shirt, and I really wish I had thought about wearing it today before I filmed this video, but it is really hot in New York today, and it is a long sleeve, but it is by Liz Pavlock Designs, who is from West Virginia, and she makes these amazing little Mothman doodles. She does a lot of West Virginia cryptid themed things, but Mothman is her favorite, and I adore her, so check her out if you are also a fan of Mothman. So yeah, let's talk about this book. So it says, how far would you go to help a stranger? While driving through the mountains of West Virginia during a late-night snowstorm, a recently divorced woman experiences bizarre electrical problems, leaving her with little choice but to place her trust with a charismatic truck driver. But when an unexplainable creature with haunting red eyes gets between them, she is forced to make one of the toughest decisions of her life. Will she abandon the stranger who kept her safe, or will she climb down below, where reality has shapeshifted into a living nightmare? This book was so much fun, and it was so creepy. I'm gonna say right off the bat, before I really dive into my review, that this was a 4-star read for me. I really wanted this to be a 5-star read for me, but my actual only real problem with this novel is it is so short. It's like 106 pages or something like that, and I wanted this to be a full-length novel. This book has so much ambiguity in it, so many like kind of creepy, haunting, unanswered questions that like really add to like the mystery and intrigue, and does very well go with the mystery and ambiguity of cryptids themselves. But I just wanted more. Like, I just wanted so much from this book. I wanted to keep reading about Mothman. Mothman is not the only cryptid in this story. And I really wanted to know what was going on. I know that it is heavily inspired, I believe his name is John Keel, by the author of the Mothman Prophecies, which I believe came out in like the 60s or 70s. There's a movie. I have not read that, as I've heard it isn't very Mothman focused. But you can see a lot of cryptid and UFO, I don't want to say mythology because I think that's the wrong word to use with cryptids in this book, and I've heard that a lot of it is derived from the Mothman prophecies. So Mothman is not the only cryptid in this novel, as I was saying. There are some, it's very much a creature feature, I would say, and I'm not going to ruin what some of the creatures are, but I will say that there was one character in this, and I've heard about him before. I listen to Haunted Places and Urban Legends, which is a Parcast podcast, quite a lot, and some of the creatures in this I have heard about, but I don't know a lot about. And I believe one is the Grinning Man, who I also believe is talked about in the Mothman Prophecies book. And he makes some creepy appearances in here. If you are a fan of Mothman, when you first start reading this book, Mothman is definitely very present in the book, but it will kind of feel like he's just there and then gone. But that's not the case. Mothman is very prevalent to the entirety of the novel. Especially the ending. I like how Mothman is depicted. I've always kind of been in the mindset that Mothman maybe isn't an evil cryptid. I know some people tend to think that he's kind of like the cause of bad things. I've always thought that Mothman is more of like a warner or a harbinger of bad things to come, like a warning. But I really, really liked the way he was depicted. I think Laurel Hightower does a really good job of kind of balancing kind of the ambiguity of, is Mothman a good cryptid or a bad cryptid, or just why is he there kind of thing. And there's just tons of conspiracies in this. I think it's really, really interesting. The one thing I will say that was difficult to read about this book is the description of the setting was a little tricky for me, and part of that is because I feel like the setting kind of supernaturally changes. So it was a little hard for me to get the full visual of what's going on with our main character for the vast majority of the story. There were some twists and turns. There were definitely some moments in the book where I was just like, oh my god. Like, there's some minor body horror in it, which was just like grotesque and came out of left field, but was really, really well done and just added to the suspense of this. The characters were all very, very likable. Even though there's such a short amount of time that we spent with these characters, I felt like our two main characters I got a really good sense of. And it actually reminded me a lot of one of the short stories in Goblin. Not like just one in particular story, but if you guys have read Goblin by Josh Malerman, it's kind of the story of like the supernatural occurrences in this small town, and it's all woven together to be like short stories within a novel. And this felt like it could have fit into the mysterious town of Goblin. Like, it was really, really interesting how it was written. But again, I really wish it was longer. There was just so much I wanted more from. There's a big twist about one of our main characters towards like the latter middle of this book. And once that happened, I was like, oh my god, they need to explain all of this. But it just kind of rests in ambiguity. And I was like, no. This would be such a great like creature feature film, I think. This was just so much fun. It was super quick, super easy to read. And if you're a fan of Mothman and other cryptids, this is a great thing. I will give you a hint for the other creatures that are in there. There is significant part of this book that takes place in a cave. But that is all that I will say. So yeah, if you were a fan of Mothman, I've never read anything by Laurel Hightower before, but I just absolutely adored all of this. But yeah, go pick this up, check this out. It's so easy to get through. It is creepy. There's body horror. There's creature features. Just so much fun. And again, literally my only real complaint was I just wanted this to be so much longer and so much more detailed so I could spend more time with these creatures and characters. But yeah, so that is all that I have for you guys today. As always, I post every Monday and Thursday, sometimes on Saturday. If you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe buttons down below, and I will catch you all in the next one. Mwah!